Okay, so graduated exposure therapy means just that, getting exposure, but gradually. You don't jump straight into the lion's den. You step up. So there's a hierarchy of 1 to 10. 10 being your most scary situation, 1 being not at all scary, but it's a step forwards, tiny bit unnerving, but you can cope with making that first step. And what you do is you work along your hierarchy until you get to your number 10. Now, you may have already read up on graduated exposure therapy. I'm not going to talk at length, but I do want to share my experience with it, how I went about doing it. And when I found out about it, I was aware I was aware of 2 basic approaches. You can either go out there into the world specifically to get exposure, or you can go about your life, and when the opportunity to get exposure arises, you take it. Now, I chose the latter of the 2. I found going out there on my own to specifically get exposure, I found that a little bit too much. At that time, I just wanted to go about my life. I was happy to take the opportunities, though, as they arose. In hindsight, though, I wish I'd have just gone for it, because I do believe it's best if you can get consistent exposure. You know, consistently putting yourself in situations you find a little uncomfortable. Because if you just go about your life, then it's dependent on what's going on in your life at the time as to whether you're going to get exposure or not. So you can be taking 2 steps forwards and 2 steps back. It's not what you want. So I chose the latter of the 2. Around that time of discovering graduated exposure, I became aware of the IPA, and you may know about them already. If not, they're the International Paruresis Association, and they organise workshops. And at a typical workshop, you'll meet up at a hotel, you'll pair up with everyone there has either recovered from paruresis or in the recovery process, all at different levels along that journey. So you pair up with someone who also has paruresis, you get yourselves into a hotel room and you practice urinating at different levels of difficulty. Now, at these workshops, at no point will you be forced to do anything that you're not comfortable doing. Okay, everyone fully respects and understands what it is to live with paruresis, so you'll never be put under pressure to do anything you're uncomfortable doing, except to gradually work along your hierarchy if you're willing to do so, and to work with someone in doing that, in which case you would get into a hotel room and work along your hierarchy just very briefly. For example, your number 1 might be you stood in the bathroom attempting to urinate whilst the other person is in the bedroom, and you just move up the hierarchy until eventually you've got the door open, then they're stood inside the bathroom, stood right behind you, making noise to simulate that busy environment. So that's basically what you can expect at those workshops. They'll also share with you cognitive behavioural therapy, what that's about, how it can help you. I'd highly recommend you get to a workshop if there is one available in your area. The feedback that I've come across on the forums is nothing but good feedback, and it's just going to help you to be around other guys that know what it's like. And so yeah, I'd highly recommend you get yourself to one. Now I'm going to share with you how I got to my 10. My 10 on that hierarchy at that time was being able to urinate in a busy nightclub. And so I'm going to share with you, it's not really much of a story, but I just want you to know that, look, I was in a place, couldn't urinate in my own apartment alone, and I was able to reach my 10 with graduated exposure therapy. Not just graduated exposure therapy, but I had to learn a few things about my own psychology along the way. As I said, there were ups and downs. Nonetheless, I persevered. Perseverance is the key. So that's in the next video. Hope you got something from this one. Catch you later.